Okay, so this is what are you channeling? And everybody is channeling something. Everybody is channeling a particular energy. Me, myself, I do videos, metaphysical mentoring, and I teach people about how I can channel chakra spirits. Everybody has 7 chakras. I talk about channeling chakra spirits. I talk about channeling ancestral spirits. I talk about how individuals channel extraterrestrials, guardian angels. There's a lot of individuals out there who will say channeling is demonic or channeling isn't real, but they're constantly channeling themselves. Have you ever noticed recently with the women, a lot of women have this Valley Girl accent. They have an accent that sounds nothing like what they naturally sound like. That little Beverly Hills Valley Girl little accent they have, and the whole world has adopted the Valley Girl accent. It doesn't matter what color they are or what economic background they come from. I remember one night I was over at my cousin's house. Now, we were in the projects, and everybody's broke, right? And so everybody's poor, and I'm talking to a girl, and she had a Valley Girl, she was using a Valley Girl accent, and I'm like, how the hell are you living in the projects using a Valley Girl accent, right? Same thing with the guys. If you notice, all these guys, as soon as they channel it straight from MTV, VH1, all these other sources, as soon as a music video comes out with a new artist, and the artist is wearing like real tight jeans, it'll be a man wearing super tight jeans, and he'll have dreadlocks, and they'll copy that, they'll channel that, and then they'll perform it themselves. All the guys will be walking around wearing these jeans that look like the character they saw doing the music video, or the character they saw in the film. They'll do the hair like the character. They mimic the character. They'll take on the soul personality of what they're seeing on the screen. They're channeling it. They'll even talk like the character. On top of that, they even start thinking like the character. The way they respond to something would be how somebody responds to something from the film or from the music video. They're not even in control of their own actions. There's people in prison for the rest of their lives because they were channeling characters from music. They buy a tape or however they do it, and they listen to the music, and the characters are saying, go do this, go rob this person, do this. Next thing you know, they're in prison for 15 years because they were listening, they were channeling that energy. People are channeling spirits, people are channeling things from these characters that they're seeing, and a lot of these people that you're seeing, you don't know their background. You don't know if they're involved in demonic rituals. You don't know what kind of activity they're involved in. So you're allowing their persona to channel through you. And you see it every single day. There's people who make the worst decisions in the world about their children. There's people who make the worst decisions in the world about what kind of education they want or why they want to pick this job based off the channeling they're doing. Everybody is always channeling. I came up with a metaphysical mentoring breakdown the other day. I got it on one of my channels under the Jameel Rawls Studies series. And I explained to people, when you're born, you're given a name, given a religion, given a language. You're shown what clothes are cool, what clothes aren't cool, depending on who you are and where you live. If you want to be rebellious, you're shown how to rebel. You pick what cool way to rebel is. People don't have any, everybody is being channeled. These things are channeling through the individual from the day they're born into earth. When they come from the spirit realm to earth and they manifest in physical reality and they're born, individuals are showing them things and sending them messages, and they're picking up on this stuff and channeling it. Television is one of the greatest tools of channeling, and that's where individuals, it connects with the brain waves, especially when an individual watches television. They go into the alpha brain state. You have alpha, beta, delta, theta, gamma, mainly. Individuals who watch a lot of television, they become in the alpha brain state, which is close to a sleep state. Like the movie They Live, where the guy was there's a part on the movie They Live where the guy was trying to explain to people that they were mind warping people through the television. these interdimensional, otherworldly creatures were preying upon humanity and walking the streets, and nobody could see who they were unless they had the glasses on. And they were doing it through subliminal advertisement, subliminal messages, through the television especially, through advertisement, through billboards. They were mind warping the people, mind warping them. And that's what's going on today. But instead of it just being a thing about telling the auto-suggestion, giving an individual, sending a message of a certain persona, and do this, they make it look so appealing, the individual naturally just channels it. They naturally just channel it. They naturally channel it. Just like how many people started smoking cigarettes just because of Joe Camel. Go ask your grandfather or your great grandfather if you have that privilege to. Go ask one of them about why people started smoking cigarettes in their day. All that. Now they don't advertise cigarettes now like they used to. I remember when I was growing up, back around 1992, I was in the second grade. I remember all my friends in the second grade. And at that time in the second grade, everybody at the time I looked at smoking as being cool. You could go to the store and you could buy a little pack of candy cigarettes as a child. Around this time, the Joe Camel advertisement became really controversial. People were saying, we don't want this, it's a cartoon. Joe Camel is a cartoon. It's a camel, it's a drawing, an illustration of a camel humanoid type being smoking cigarettes. And Joe Camel wasn't the only advertisement doing that in the tobacco industry. There's a lot of other tobacco products that used that type of advertisement. But Joe Camel became really controversial in the early 90s, and they said no more Joe Camel. This is teaching children to smoke cigarettes. Children are seeing this on television, seeing Joe Camel on television. They're seeing the magazines, they're seeing the billboards, and it's putting an image in the children's minds to smoke cigarettes. But cartoons were a lot different at that time anyway. The cartoons you have now aren't nearly like they were back then. You didn't even hear anybody swear on TV. Damn and hell were the only words you heard on public television. You would have had to go to, even on HBO, I don't think they really swore that much. A little bit, but swearing, you had to go to adult channels that children were not supposed to be watching. You had to go to the movie theater to hear swearing. You never heard swearing on TV. They were advertising the cigarettes. So at that time, it was real controversial. So the cigarettes, the Joe Camel cigarettes are gone, right? They got rid of that. But at that time, a child could go buy. I remember I'd go get some candy cigarettes from the store. We were growing up in an area that was real nice. At the time, now it's kind of changed a little bit. Now, you drive through the area, and it might not be as up as it was, but at the time, it was a real nice area, real nice middle class area. And I remember going to school and speaking with people, and I was one of the children who wanted a real cigarette. I wanted a real cigarette because I was channeling the older people around me. I would see individuals, like my uncle smoking a cigarette. Or I'd turn on TV and watch an individual smoking a cigarette, and I thought it was cool. I thought, this is what you smoke a cigarette, you're older, you're more mature, you have more ability. I would go watch older movies, and old movies, you see people smoking these cigarettes. John Wayne drank beer. John Wayne smoked cigarettes, I think. If he didn't smoke cigarettes, he definitely drank beer. But you used to get the point, you watch these old movies. So I eventually came into a pack of cigarettes. And I remember I got an older person to get them for me. And I remember I was smoking the cigarette, and a girl around my age group in the second grade saw me smoking. She saw me smoking a cigarette, and she went and told the teacher. The next day at school, the teacher called me back into there was a little room. You had the classroom, and then there was a little bitty room within the classroom. You walked through the front door, and you got the big classroom. Then if you kept walking after you walked through the door to the right, it was a little bitty room. He took me back to the little bitty room, and he asked me, "Do you have any cigarettes?" I said, "No." He said, "Have you been smoking in school?" I said, "No." He said, "Well, we got word that you were smoking cigarettes. I got, word on the street is you're smoking cigarettes." And I said, "Well, I don't smoke cigarettes." He knew I was lying. But I knew who told him, though, because I saw the girl that I was in school with outside of school. It wasn't far from the school, but I saw her, she saw me, so I knew she was the one that told. I never would have wanted that cigarette had I not been channeling those entities. And that's what channeling is. You see an individual, you see what they're doing, and you absorb it for whatever reason. They're expressing something. When they smoke that cigarette, they're expressing something. When they drink some beer, now that's just one analogy, right? Right. So you can say when a new car comes out, when a guy works at a company and he sees all his coworkers driving that new car. He's seen them driving the new car. He sees how the way they pull into the work, how they take off from the work, how they tell other stories about how they went on vacation, did this, did that. He's seeing that experience and he's channeling it. He wants that experience. He's channeling that energy. He wants to enjoy that experience. He wants to be a part of that experience. He wants to be that experience. So he has to find a way to get that car. 3 guys at the company got this car, and he's channeling it. He's channeling that energy into his soul, into his spirit, and he wants the car. Now, if he had knowledge and overstanding and understanding of the dynamics of the situation, he might recognize, wait a minute, what is it about the car? I'm channeling this experience for my coworkers, but what is it? What is it about the car? What is it about the car that I want? Is it really the car? Do I really want the car? Let me ask myself that before I saw them driving, I didn't know anything about the car. If I did see the car, it wasn't that appealing. Why are they making the car so attractable? The car represents freedom. Right? Like any 16-year-old who wants a new car, who gets a license, they want a car. Right? The car represents freedom. The ability to come and go from work, the ability to come and go from school, the ability to come and go from home. You can get in your car and take off and go. You can go from New York to California in 3 days. You can go to Mexico. You can go to Canada. Freedom. He wants freedom. That's what he should be channeling. He should recognize the structure of his belief system, see what he wants, and grab that opportunity and go find freedom, because it's definitely not in the car.